Welcome to Richard Mabey Presents.
1, 2, 3. Hopefully I can get through this. Down home, where a man's good name and a handshake are all you need, folks know if they're falling on hard times, they can fall back on those of us raised up down home. Down home, where a man's good name and a handshake are all you need, folks know if they're falling on hard times, they can fall back on those of us raised up down home. I'm writing this letter in a foxhole. Dear Mom, don't scold if it's not too neat. I'm writing this letter in a foxhole. Don't scold if it isn't too neat. Hello, YouTube friends. It's Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, 2024. First song that I attempted, Alabama, Down Home, and then Soldier's Last Letter, Merle Haggard, from the Hag, H-A-G, Hag album of 1970. So Memorial Day and solemn holiday, and for years and years and years, ever since I was 8 years old, I was always part of the Memorial Day Parade in Lincoln Park, being a Cub Scout. And then when I was 11, being in Boy Scout Troop 170. Then in high school, the Boonton High School band, marching band, would march in the Lincoln Park Memorial Day Parade, and I played the drums. My freshman year, I played the bass drum, and then sophomore, junior, and senior years, I played snare drum. So, and then after that, I stayed in Scouts and served as an assistant scoutmaster for a number of years, for about over 20 years. And we always, Troop 170 always marched in the Memorial Day Parade. And then in the mid 80s or late 80s, Dad and I joined the Beavertown, AKA Lincoln Park Historical Society. We always had a float honoring the men and women who passed, who were killed in action in the different wars. My dad, on Memorial Day, he would put U.S. American flags. There is no American flag. Basic Eagle Scout Board of Review. How many stripes are on the American flag? None. There is no American flag. It's a U.S. flag. And I remember my buddy Don Stone had gone to the Eagle Scout Board of Review about 2 months before I did, and they got him on that question. And I think you were allowed to get 6 questions. I mean, you would be in that Board of Review for like 2 hours, and you got drilled, and you were only allowed to get 5 questions wrong. And then if you got 5 questions wrong, you had to leave, and you would be told to leave, and then you had to come back in 3 months. So I was tipped off. You know how many stripes are on the American flag? None. There is no American flag. It's the flag of the United States of America, U.S. flag. So my dad, he would put these U.S. flags all over the backyard of the old Mabey homestead. And this is the tree that Stuart and I built the tree fort on. This is from the mid 90s, but back when I was a kid, in the early 60s, it had a lot more limbs, and we had all kinds of platforms all over the tree. It had 4 tiers. So I don't want to talk too much about the old tree fort. I want to focus on Memorial Day. My uncle, my great uncle, Earl Mabey, served in World War I and was killed in action. In France, and he was in the foxhole and was gassed. And I've done a lot of research on that. The gas that the Germans used, it was an incredibly painful death. So, beloved great uncle Earl Mabey, I salute you for your service. Be right back. I'm back. If you want to read about my great uncle Earl, put down Earl Mabey in Google. Earl Mabey, M-A-B-E-Y. Earl Mabey, space Earl space Mabey space Journey to Truth, and there'll be a story there. Also, if you put in Earl Mabey, World War I, the story should also appear. And I'm in the moment here. And so here is, hold on, please. Here, hopefully this will work. Here's a photo. That's not bad. Here's a photo of my great uncle Earl on standing beside his Indian motorcycle on the side of the old Mabey ice cream parlor, which was at the corner of Route 202 and Mabey Lane. Oh, let me see. This is just before he. Here is my great uncle Earl Mabey, in from his days in the Army. I believe this was taken in basic training. And there he is, my great uncle Earl. God bless him. He's in heaven now. Let me see. And this is a story I wrote for the old Lincoln Park Herald. I titled it Two Brothers. And it was the story of my grandpa, my great-grandpa, and my great-uncle Earl. And before great-uncle Earl joined the United States Army, he worked with his father. They had an ice house at the foot of Incline Plane 10 East in the Morris Canal. And my great-uncle Earl and my grandpa, along with their father, my great-grandfather William Mabey, my grandfather Watson Mabey, they worked in the ice house there. Let's see here. Now here is, let's see. So let me see if I can get the story here. So anyway, yeah, put in Earl Mabey, World War I. Here is my dad loved this picture. Here's a picture of my dad in the picture of Uncle Earl, great Uncle Earl, was in the Lincoln Park Museum for years. I don't know if it's still there or not, but there's Dad, and there's the picture of great Uncle Earl on his Indian motorcycle. So I have here, you should see, one of these days I'm going to get organized. One of these days I'm going to get organized. I tell you. Let me see here. I'm totally in the moment here. And let's see here. This is very solemn. American Red Cross, January 8th, 1917, to Mrs. Dora Mabey, Lincoln Park, New Jersey. Subject, Private Earl Mabey, MG 104th Infantry. Hopefully I can get through this. Dear Mrs. Mabey, this is from Norma S. Alross, Home Communications Services, American Red Cross. This is the actual letter that my great-grandma Dora Mabey received about her son, Earl Mabey. My dear Mrs. Mabey, as the representative of the Home Communications Service of the American Red Cross, I am writing you to tell you of the death of Private Mabey, which occurred in this hospital at 3 o'clock on the morning of December 7th. Uncle Earl was gassed. Now, I've done a lot of research on this. Now, a hospital, we think of like a big like 5-story building, and a hospital at that point could have been a tent. It could have been a tent. He was brought here 5 days before his death in very serious condition. As a result of blah, blah, blah gas. It's like a mustard gas. When first entered as a patient, he was delirious, and he continued to be so until 2 days before his death, when he lapsed into a state of stupor from which he never rallied. This gas, I don't want to get into, but the Germans, the gas that they used was just, war is H. War is HELL. But when I was a boy, there were a lot of World War I veterans still alive in Lincoln Park. And they were my Sunday school teachers, my Cub Scout leaders, and that kind of thing, and neighbors. And I was born in 1953, so when I was a child, so like when I was about even 8, 9 years old, a lot of the World War I veterans, they were up in age, but and they used to say, well, it would be better to be, hold on, be right back. I'm back. This is very emotional for me. Earl was never conscious of the seriousness of his own condition, or sufficiently keen mentally to talk of any of those to whom he might have left a message. Earl was given every care that was possible, and the very best of medical attention at all times. He never seemed to be suffering any pain. I have a feeling they just put that in, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they were lying. As Andy Griffith would say, they're putting a little jam on the bread, Upon the afternoon of the day he died, he was carried by his comrades to the Justice Hospital Group Cemetery and laid to rest, with all of the military honors accorded by his country to those who give their lives as the supreme sacrifice. I can't read this word. Cemetery is situated just the cemetery is situated just outside the beautiful old French city of I can't ROUL, and is set aside for the American soldiers who have died in the hospitals nearby. It is visited every day by the American nurses and soldiers who are stationed nearby, and is carefully cared for by them. Yours sincerely, Norma E. Alros, Home Communication Services, American Red Cross. Again, dated January 8th, 1919. So my grandma girl went to Heaven's Gates on December 7th, 1919. Thank you, Uncle Earl, for your service. Thank you for watching. And prayers and blessings for the men and women who died and killed in action defending democracy. Bye for now.